Mr. Webster, thanks for joining us this evening for this 10th presidential debate. In a moment, I will be asking you a few questions, and I ask for a brief response.
Thank you.
Mr. Webster, why do you feel having an American dictionary is important for the future of America?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. As I've always said, the time is now to seize the opportunities before us and to forge a strong national language as well as a strong national government. I have personally worked on my dictionary, learning over 20 languages and traveling to many European countries such as Europe and France to make sure we have a comprehensive understanding of this language we use. My dictionary, an American dictionary of the English language, is important to America right now because as a nation we are in the fledgling stages where we are still shaping the image that will be seen for centuries by nations all across the globe. We must reflect our country to be one of a sophisticated and articulate society rather than a commune of uninformed farmers. As it stands, we are not progressing towards that goal, which is why I feel that I must become president to bolster the American education system to provide the necessary grounds to build that nation.
Elaborate on that plan, please, Mr. Webster.
As you wish. I've become increasingly aware and disgruntled with the current American education system after my wife and I moved us and our kids to Amherst, Massachusetts. In Amherst, we found little to no education at all, which was reflected across much of the rural United States. Where there are very little schools, and where there are schools, they're poorly funded, poorly lit, poorly supplied with learning materials, and their teachers are poorly paid. When we arrived, my wife and I, along with large members of the community, worked together to found the Amherst Academy and provide them with copies of my own textbooks, a Grammatical Institute of English Language, also known as the Blue Book Speller, and a history of the United States. And as president, I promise to place infrastructure like this all across our country to make universal education a reality.
So, Mr. Webster, you've written yourself about 30 different American books yourself. Why do you advocate so heavily for solely American textbooks?
American textbooks allow us to provide a more cost-effective and in-sourced alternative to the English textbooks we've been using prior. In addition, these American textbooks allow us to implant our own American values into them. We're able to incorporate founding American stories and important heroes such as George Washington in them. These stories will build a sense of patriotism in our youth and allow them to carry the strong ideals of our republic into the future generations to come. It also helps us to weed out these antiquated European ideas of monarchy and flawed systems of classist and social hierarchies.
So, Mr. Webster, who is the target demographic of your education plan?
I feel the target demographic of this new American education system should be the roots of America, the children, the ones who will lead to our future. These children, when educated on the reason we have a republic and on the benefits and betterments of this republic, will be able to take this great nation of ours into capable hands and lead it to places we could never have even dreamed of. I feel that education is not only a thing for men, but I feel education is an equal opportunity for all. For both men and women, it allows us to pass down these values and teachings onto our children through the home, family, and religious institutions. Even in our Amherst school in Massachusetts, the founding class was comprised of 90 girls and over 100 boys.
That's very impressive, Mr. Webster. I want to thank you for your time, Mr. Webster. Do you have any final remarks?
I would like to thank everyone who came out tonight and implore all of you to think about the things that I've said and to remember, fellow countrymen, A smart America is a strong America. The information in tonight's broadcast was brought to you by ConnecticutHistory.org and the Noah Webster House.